Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. So today we are going to create a file transfer application using the Python and Tkinter. Okay, graphically the interface we will creating using the Tkinter in the Python. Okay, so before we start our writing code, we will before we start our start writing code, we will first understand some concept of servers, client, and what is proxy server. Okay, so server is essentially a powerful computer designed to provide um, uh, service to the other computer on network. Imagine there is a one man holder of information. Its primary job is to respond request made by other computer. For example, if you ever browse something on internet, you ask to the server for any file or for a web page. The server process that request and provide the request a file or a web page from the server, but sometimes the server not may have information. For example, if you search google.com, it will give you the HTML page of Google, but if spelling something ggglm.com, it may say URL not found. So if server may not have that information that your computer is looking for, in such case it respond with an error message like file not found or web page not found, URL not found or available. Such things server respond. In large network, server can handle requests from 100,000 or even millions of computers, depending upon how powerful they are. So now that's things about the servers. What is server? Now there is another part is this client. So what is client? A client is the computer or device that make request to a server. uh, uh, Server, this could be your laptop, your smartphone and tablet, anything, any device that use the access the internet or any other network resources. The client asks the server for information and the server respond. The client asks, give me the HTML page of Google, and the server give them. While server are designed handle massive amount of data and traffic, uh, जो servers computer are very powerful. They are designed to handle a massive amount of uh, data and traffic, whereas client are generally small or less powerful and built for the everyday use. So a client, we have server. Client ask a request to server and server provide to client. But there is one more term, that is proxy server. So this thing's a little interesting. Basically a proxy server act as a gateway between the client and the main server. If I give you example, so imagine you are requesting something from Google server. So instead of your request going directly to the Google, it first go through a proxy server. If the proxy server already has information you are looking for in its cache memory, it provide you directly, but sometime to saving time, but sometime sorry to is but if sometime proxy server does not have request information, then it forward your request to main server. So when proxy server give information directly, it save time and reduce the load on the main server. But if proxy server does not have a request information, it forward the request to main server, get the data from main server and store in its cache memory, and then send it back to you. This process helps manage network traffic and ensure faster response time for frequently requested information. In large-scale system, proxy server crucial because they prevent the main server from becoming overwhelmed by too many requests. So now all these terms are cover what is server, what is client, and what is proxy server. So now that we covered this concept, let's apply this knowledge in something practical, and we will create our simple file transfer application using the Python and Tkinter. So we will create uh, this one. So we will start our coding part here. I just create one file that is main.py. Okay, so in this we are going to create a, so first we are going to create a server. So we already explained what the server that's something we accept a client request and give response. Okay, so we are going to build server that that will be accept client request and that should able to respond back to the client with server it is requested. Since we do not have any we don't have some other server, we will set up in our computer only, and then same computer will act as a client as well. So now in order uh, now, in order for the server to accept client request, the server must be running. So this is what we are going to doing in. Uh, so we will first create a server, then we will run it and make ready to accept one or multiple requests from the client. So you know that we will use socket. So let first important the socket. So right here we will write import socket. Okay, all right, so now I told you that our own machine will act as a server, so we will say uh, host equal to local host, and then let's say port equal to 800. And now we need to now we'll type socket dot socket, and now we need to pass here some parameter. The first parameter will be socket dot af, and this basically means that we are using the internet version 4. And now the next argument is what kind of connection we need to stabilize. We want to stabilize is our TCP connection or uh, 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 so we will say socket dot socket stream. Okay, so this will stabilize a TCP connection, and it will create TCP connection between a client and server. And if you want to create a if you want to create a UTP connection, then we will write socket diagram. Okay, but here we are using the TCP connection, so we will use stream, and that is a very reliable connection, and we do not want to lose any packet to be lost during the base, so we will stabilize TCP connection. So it socket uh, all right, so we have socket. Now let's store this in a Oh, very well. Okay. And let now we have a variable in which we have a socket is stored. Now we will wind this socket with the host name and a host and port. Okay. So here sock dot wind, and we wind this socket with a host and port. So this sock function, the wind method take argument that is host and port. And now we will make this socket ready to listen for client request. So we will type here sock dot listen, and let's say that socket will able to listen only one request at time, so we will give here one. So let's say if you want to this socket to listen multiple requests like 100 requests at one time, then you need to type here 100. But we are only listen to only one request for the just learning purpose, so we will type here one. So now this listen method is continuously listening for the client request, and when it listen for some kind of request from the client, then it should able to accept that request as well. So we will type here sock dot uh, accept. Uh, Now this export matter return two things. The one is the connection that is stabilized between the client and the server, and the second one is the address where from where it is get connected. So we will store these two variable into two variables. Let's say uh, connection and address. Okay. Connection will be stored in this variable con, and the address will be stored in this variable address. We just give it address. Okay. So now we will have a socket which is wind with which wind this host number and host and this port number, and this socket continuously listen one request at a time. Uh, and we are able to accept the that client request. Okay. uh, so now the socket will able to provide the service which the client has requested, and let's say that this server is designed to give some important message to the client. Well, the server can give anything to the client which is uh, it is requested. So first of all, we will create that message. For simplicity, we will only send one important text message. So first of all, we create here one variable with name message, and give uh, hello, welcome to school lab. Okay. So we store one message in our variable message. Now we will send this message to client which requested it. So we have the connection as we will have message, and now we want to send this message to connection which is stabilized with the client server. So I will say uh, uh, con dot send uh, and we will send this message which client is requested. So we will write message, uh, and we cannot this message very so this message variable is currently now in string, and we cannot send a string variable, so we need to encode this message into binary form, and then we can send over the network. So we will type here message dot encode. Okay. And this encode function will convert this message string to binary format. So now when this message is declined, then we will close the connection. So we will say connection dot close. uh, okay, so now we have a socket which is listening to client request, and then we are providing basically some important message to the client. Uh, so it can travel over the network. So now let's say we will print so we will here write print server is listening. Uh, and what thing? So if we run this file, we have opened new terminal here and give python dot main dot py. Okay. Bind actually one argument to given. Okay. Bind is only okay. Take only one argument. Okay. So I will give it like this and run again. Okay. The server is listening. Right. Our server is listening. When so now our when this function trigger here and server is listening. When we get any request, it will accept that request, it will send a message, and then it will close. So currently it is only here. So uh, now we have to create a uh, client which we able to send a request to the server, and then server will listen to the request right here, and it will accept that connection, and then we will send message to the client in coded form. Okay, so we will create that thing. So I will just rename this file. So we will rename this file as a server. Okay, and then we will create another file is client.py. Okay, so so as I told, actually our computer is acting as a server as well as client. So we created a server, now we will create and act as a client. So basically what this client is going to do, that it will send a request to the server, and then the server will then respond back with an important message that we write uh, here. Okay, and then we will print out this message sent by the server. So I made a file that client.py, and so you can also make a new file and then name it anything you want. Now the first thing on the client side we need to do is to import the socket and create socket. uh, as we done in server.py, in client we also need this socket. So we write here import the socket, and then we give similarly, just copy this host and port, and we will change this port to 8080. Okay, then we write socket, and similarly just do. Okay, so as I already told, this AFINAT is told that we are using the internet, internet version 4. And second parameter is tell us what kind of connection we want to stabilize. Okay, so we want to stabilize TCP connection, so we are giving here sock dot stream. Okay, so now if we have to stabilize UDP connection, then we need to type sock dot sock underscore diagram. Okay, so what as we stabilize this connection in server, so we just write here sock underscore stream. So now uh, so now we will connect this sock. Okay, so we just write here sock dot connect and then host uh, comma port. So here we use bind function, but here we want to the connect with server, so we here use the connect function. And uh, so you are connected with our server, and now when the client will send a request to the server will respond back with the message, and now this client will able to receive message. So let's create a variable in which that client will receive that message. So we write here message equal sock dot receive. Uh, so now in this function, in this method, we want to specify the maximum size of the message that SOC will receive. So we can select, we can input any size value, but mostly we use 124 byte, which is enough to store a text message. So we just um, give Uh, since we have connected with a server, the server will keep on sending packet, and the client need to receive this packet continuously. So for that, we need a loop here, uh, and that will keep receiving packets from the server until all the packets are received at client side. So we will say while message uh, print our message. um So our server has sent a message in encoded form. Here, if we see in server.py, we are sending message.encode. So server is sending the message in encoded form. In client side, we need to decode this message. So we can see that client has so server has sent the message in binary in encoded form, and now client side we need to decode this message once it's received. So we write here message uh, dot message dot decode. uh, Now this decode function basically decode the message in its original form, and then we will keep on the then we will keep storing all the packet in the variable message that we will create again here. So we just type message uh, sorry, message equal to uh, sock dot receive, and our receive is 1024. Okay, so now that complete packet of the message and received, so now we will close the connection here. So we will type sock dot close. So first thing we import the socket, then we store host and port into variable, then we create one socket that we store in the variable sock, then we'll connect it with the host and port, uh, and we connect it and we connect to the server that is running on the local host 8000. Okay, then we will client here we connect with the server, uh, then we will connect the server that the master, and this is and that server receive a message here in this variable message, and then uh, we are saying as long as we are receiving the packet of the message, so we use for that loop, and inside this loop we decoding our message and storing all the packet in this variable message. uh, if we run this python line.py, and it received the message, our message, that is our here, and message is hello welcome to school lab, and connection is also closed. Okay, so if we run again, and if we here type we run this server, so we just now server is listening. Okay, and again we will send a request using running by this client.py, and if we run this file, this server listen this request, okay, and send this message which we store here. If I just hit enter, okay, so it received the request and then send the message hello welcome to school lab, and then the connection is closed. Okay, so the client has received the message from the server. uh, Basically this message sent by server is basically the same that we can see in the console screen. uh, uh, and on the client, so now we have clicked both the client and the server. Well, if you're getting any type of error, make sure that your server is running before you run the client side. And even then, if you're getting some kind of error, then feel free to comment in the chat or in the comment section. uh, Okay, so now we already developed a server and the client that send a text message from server to the client, and client will receive the message. Now we will develop a server that will send a file to the client which it requested. So basically the client will send a request to the server by asking for some file, then server will look the for that requested file. If it is found, then it will send that file to the requested client, or else it will say it is not found. It will send an error message that request file cannot be found. All right, so I again so again I am already on the server side. uh, as you can see here, uh, and so what we going to do, So now we don't need these lines of code because we are not sending any message now, but we going to send a file. So first I'm going to creating a one variable uh, that file name equal. Give me 1 minute. I will be back. Just 1 minute. Okay, so here I am going to get a file name. Okay, so here write con dot uh, receive and here we give parameter 1024 that file name should not greater than 1024. Okay, so now we have the name of that file and the client has request for, and now server uh, this server will open that file. Okay, so here file equal open. So while it want to open the file that client is requested, so we just type here file name, and now basically since we want to read that file, our second parameter should be uh, read byte byte. All right. So now once the file is open, we will read all the content of this file. So for this I'm going to create another variable and going to call it read file. We will put uh, and the here file dot read, this read all the content which inside the file. So now we will send all this content which is stored in this file, and this content read file we will send to the client which has requested for. So I will type connection here, uh, con dot send, and we will send all the content which is stored in the read file. Okay, so we just type read file, uh, which is the name of the variable in which we have stored all the content of the file. So once we have sent that file, we need to close the file as well. So we'll just type file uh, dot close. uh, So now we are pretty much done. but it is also possible that client request for some file that might not found on the server. So we will put these lines of code in try and except block, and you just type here try and then we write accept and first of all, it will try to open that file. That file is not found on the server. Then it will it will go the accept block, and it will send a message that file not found. Error message that file not found. And this message should be encoded. Okay, so we write just encode here. Uh, so first of all, we will receive the name of the file that client is requested for. Then server will try to open that file and will read all the content. Uh, Once it is open, then after all the content are open, it will send all the content to the client to which we have stabilized the connection with. And once we will have send all the control of the file, then we close the file as well. And if a file is not found on the server, it will come to the accept block and it will send this message that file not found, which is sent in the encoded format. So now we can run this server. Here we execute our server, uh, uh, and our server is server is running. Okay, so in the so now we need to create a client for to that request for a file from the server, and then server will look that file, and when server send that file, client able to receive that file and display on the console. So we have only developed a file server. Now we will move to the client that received that file. Okay, we will just come to client.py and okay, so first we will create one new file here, and let's say message.txt. Okay, so now here we have a text file. Let's put content inside that file. We write here, this is a secret message from school. Only few people. Okay, so if you are new to this channel, please subscribe to school and like this video. Thanks. Okay, so first we need to uh, come here client.py and we'll remove this code. Okay, uh, uh, so uh, because we are not receiving message this time, so now we will create a new variable here. which give the we write here file name equal, in which we give this file name, that is message.txt. Okay, and then we will send this file name to the server. Then the server will look for that file. So we give here name message.txt. Now we will send this file name to the server. So basically this is a request the file from the server. So we use sock.send, then the bracket, and then name of the file name, and then uh, encode the file name, because it is a string, and so we need to encode so it can travel over the network. So we will give here file name dot encode. um, all right, so now this socket method will send the name of the file to the server, and on the server side it will receive here uh, right here, uh, and then it will try to open that file, that will uh, read the content, all content of that file, um, and then it will send all the content of the file to the client, and then files should be closed. Just give me 1 minute. What is happening? Oh, it's going error. Am I live? This is not receiving. Okay, I'm live. Okay. Okay. So now we will create a variable here that store all the content that is sent by the server. Okay, so here we are sending all the content of the file that server open, and now we will need to receive that content in our client side. Okay, so we will create a variable here, that is read file equal talk dot receive 1024, that is size that we are going to receive, and then we type print here, and type read file that decode and decoded. So now once we decode all the content and print on the screen, we will here closing the socket. So now that's it. Now we will check whether our server is running or not, and server is listening. uh, Uh, so now we just request run the client .py that request the request this file uh, to the server. Okay, so we will check and we will run the client side. And we don't receive anything right here. Why will not receive anything? Is control C, control C. What happened? Message that we send a file code. Here we receive file name here. Here we receive file name. Uh, file name. I think it should be decode also, right? Or I can print here file name. Print file name the decode. Print file name. So I'm going Python server. Server listening. Now we just type Python client device. Okay. What the problem? What is the problem? Okay, scroll server. Go to server. Just close this thing and open in this terminal. Here we just in server. Now we will ask for transfer name. Okay. And then on the server and then the client again. Still here we have some problem. Alternate for receiver particular port is local register. Ha ha ha. Okay, b.txt close file not found, right? Okay, So I just forget to comment this line because it is receiving message but server is not sending any message. Okay, so that's the problem. That's why we are not getting anything. So we just remove this line and it will working fine. If I just correct this this file, that is MESSAGE message.txt. Now if we run our server and then we request the file message.txt from the server, from the client side to the server, just hit enter, and here we get this secret message from the school app. So if you are new to the channel, please subscribe to the school app and like this video. So if you are new to the channel and watching this live stream later, uh, and so please hit that subscribe button and like this video, and we will meet again. So this uh, we get this complete message here. So now let me explain what basically is happening one last time. Uh, all right. So first we created a server, then we wind it with the host and port that we given here. Uh, and now it is listening to the client request. That is one. Now any kind of a request come from the client side, it will accept and it will uh, and connection that is stabilized the client will store in this variable con, and address will be stored in this variable address, and the client signed uh, to come to client side, we connect with the server here with this host and port, and we will send one request of this file name uh, in server.py, and server we receive that file name here, uh, and that file we will receive here, file name receive here, and we will decode that file name and read as binary. Okay, and then we and store in this variable read file, and then we will print the content of the file in here, that is this message. Then we will close the server. So yeah, so now we have developed a file client and a file server. The file client is sending some request that need that file, and then server look for that file and then send content of that file to the client. Okay, now let's say that we request some other file which is not found on the server. Let's say I just write here at triple s, and now again if I run the server, and if I re- uh, and then we will just run the client.py that request for sss.txt, and it will give us the error message, that is the file not found. Okay, that we are sending here, that file not defined, and this the message sent from server to the client, and we receive that message here, and then we decode that message, uh, because we are requesting a file from a server and this file is not available in this server side, so it sends this error message, and the file is not available in the server. uh, so yeah, we need to do on the client and the server side. Uh, now we will uh, so now we have to create a UI of this application. Okay, that GUI use uh, and then for the GUI we use the Tkinter. Uh, okay, so we use Tkinter for the graphical user interface. So we will get start creating the graphical user interface for that application, this application, right? So we come to here, server.py, or I will create a new file. Okay, so I will just create a new file here. Uh, that is, or I can use only this file, server.py only, right? So first of all, we need to import everything that we are going to making this application. So we just type here from Tkinter import everything. Okay. Then we import a file dialog. We can actually choose any file that we want to transfer from one computer to another. And so in the next we are going to import the OS module. uh, so yeah, these all things we are going to be needing to making our file transfer application. So we just create a window and we starting the code here. Then we give root equal tk, tk, and so now we just having this line of code, and uh, and then we will use main loop, sorry, main loop. Okay, so this manual function is actually very important. It is actually very important and responsible for all kind of updation and all kind of movement and everything that is going to be in our windows. So if you don't have this main loop function, then this window will not be displayed. So it's better that we uh, so that better that then that you have main loop, that we will have multiple window in our application. So we uh, have so it's so it's better just going to bind this main loop to the window that we are storing variable root. Okay, so we just here type here that root dot main loop, and we just execute the application. uh, I just close the terminal. Okay, Python uh, server.py. Okay, so now you can see the window with some default and height and width. Let's just change the default, the height width. Uh, so here we close the, so I will just type root dot title. So here uh, and here I will give the title file transfer, and then I want to send the height and width of the window that you just see earlier. So for this we are using the geometry method. So I just give root dot geometry, and then we give size of the window in string format. So I just here 450 and mm, 560 pixel. It's height and plus 500 plus 200. Okay, so this is going to be uh, height and width of the uh, and so I'm just going to set the background color of window as well. So we just write root dot configure uh, and we use the attribute bg to set the background color. I give bg and I use the hexadecimal, or you can use the color name also. So here if you want to use hexadecimal, you can google it, hexadecimal of any color, and you can actually use that hexadecimal in this code. So I am using hexadecimal code of that color, that is H F4DFE. Okay, so now if I run this code, uh, okay, so it is invalid color over here, F4DF. Okay, so here this is, now we are run the color. So now I have a windows here. Okay, but this window is if I choose resizable, right? I don't want this window resizable, so I just close this window and type here uh, root dot resizable false uh, along with x-axis, and that's why I'm going to set value to false, that it will not be resizable along x-axis, and I also don't want my window resize along y-axis. So I am also set this pass the false to this parameter also. Okay, so okay, yeah, these all things. Now I execute my file again here. Okay, so python.server.py, and now if I see that I am not able to resizable this window, uh, and we can see a title here, that is a file transfer, uh, uh, and we have the don't have background color. Okay, so I just uh, I just Google, and here come we just receive one message, right? Okay, yeah, high information of government. So just here type here uh, hexadecimal color picker. I want something light like this. Okay, 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 this is right. Just copy this, and I'm just going to paste here and run again. Okay, so now we have this cool color here in the background of this window. Okay, uh, so another thing that you are going to see that uh, so now we will put different kind of widget on our main window, and we are actually going to put different images on our window. Okay, so all the images we have here in this asset folder that we have here. uh, uh, so now, so first of all, I'm actually change the icon of from for a window. For here this default icon. So we will change this. Okay. So I have one icon here. Okay. So this icon have here that we will change with this default icon. Okay. So let's just put in here. So let's close this, and come to our code. Uh, Here, now I'm going to add comment here, that is icon of my window. Okay, that image icon, and that and that photo image file, that icon.png. We just copy this, copy, and here paste. So now we have this image, that icon.png. Now I actually need to put it on my window for my icon. So right here, I'm going to do, mm, I will just say, uh, root dot icon photo, and that actually means that the icon photo for my main window, it's going to be first attribute, actually pass false. Why default is value is actually true, and when this actually set to be true, this actually means that I have just have top level window on my window. Then the icon photo is going to apply on that window as well. But if I set actual to false, which means that any tab on the window which actually root, uh, that icon photo will not display on the other window that are display on the top of my main window. So that's why I am setting that is equal to false. Okay, now for the next attribute, that is the image icon. Okay, so I just pass here, and now if I execute my application, uh, it's no such file directory. Okay, so now if we run this, okay, so now you can see here, we have icon and we have title here, file transfer. So now we have put that icon in our window, and now I'm going to actually create a label, and then that is going to be basically is the clear title label of my main window. uh, so let me close this, and here, uh, um, label, and since I want this label inside my window, so I give root, uh, and then text, that should be a file transfer, and next are the font, that is going to be uh, so you can use your font, your font name of your choice. I'm just going to use font Times New Roman, and uh, size, size size, okay, and size of this is 20 um, pixel, and bold. Ouch. Okay, now you can see this is file transfer label here. But so we will create a frame. So I'm going to using the boolean class data frame. Uh, then we just give root. Uh, we give width 400 pixel and height is going to be 2 pixel and background color is the hexadecimal value, that is f3 f5 uh, f okay f6. uh, Now that is the frame. Now let place that frame, that dot place uh, uh, x is 25 and by equal to 80 pixel, right? uh, Now I'm going to actually create two images. I'm going to actually create two buttons and then text, or basically I will basically a photo on these two buttons. The first one is going to send button and the second one is going to be receive button. So first of all, I'm going to actually load two images. uh, uh, so here send images, send images equal to photo images and dot send. And we now need to create a button, that send equal to button. uh, oh, we need to use create button class button, and then I want to button inside my window. So root uh, next, then what is the image of that button, that image equal to the send image, and then what is the background color of the button. So background color is going to be hexadecimal value, that is bd equal uh, sorry bg equal uh, mm, uh, s f4 fd fe, uh, and then another attribute is bd, and that equal to 0, and cursor hand 2. I just changed this to this. Okay, so now send dot place that is x equal to 50 pixel and y equal to 100 pixel. So now we will execute this file again. uh, so we have this button, send button here, and let's now we'll create a receive button as well. So for this we just come at receive image, and photo image file asset image dot png. And now uh, so the image right here, which is received.png inside my folder here, received.png. Okay. uh, so we just create a button receive button to the main root, and image should be receive image, and background should be same, bd is equal 0, cursor and same. And okay, now we need to place this button. So receive dot place, and along with the axis it should be 300, and y should be 100 pixel, the same that send place. Now we will run again, and we have two buttons. One is send button and one is receive button. Okay. So now we have these two buttons. So actually what I want under these two button, uh, we have uh, here send label, and here receive, uh, and here should be a text should be received. Okay, so let's do it. First we will create a label. uh, we will give a label that is going to be a root. Text should be a send file font. uh, and here yes, we increase this 67, and here we give uh, 6750, and we run this. Okay, so just below, then we need to 87 and 380. Run again. Okay, sorry. And on the file, okay, so we have texture send file and receive file. Okay, so we run. Okay, so now it's looking decent that we have file transfer. That line that we have two buttons here, send file and receive file. We have text label here, send file and receive file. Okay, so now finally I'm going to actually display display with, because this portion right here here is empty. So what I'm going to actually place an image, uh, and a big image right below. So just let me close this, and here we uh, so here just we load background image. So we just write background uh, image, and that photo image, that background dot png, that is here. Where is background image? Where is background image? The bd, there is a background. Okay, so just I write here bd dot png. Okay, so uh, just write here label, and it should be visible in the main window. So root background image, uh, and We need to place uh, mm, negative 3 pixel on the x-axis and 320 to 20 along with the y-axis. Okay, so we just run this and it's looking like this with this process window and 325. So I need to change this image. Okay, now run. Okay, we will not do it initial. Bye. Initial. So this will open our image.png, right? And we will okay, so just remove this. Okay. Okay. Now run this file. Uh, assets.png here. Okay, this is fine. You just need to down here. Okay, so what I did here, this we have a function image.open that will open the image file, then have bg.image.resize that will resize the our image with specify height and width. Here I will be 450 and 250, and then we have image resampling module that includes several resample filter and length. JAWS is preferred filter for high quality image resizing. Okay, before alert we are using any liases that is recommended to upgrade that is not working currently, and uh, so we using this lens course, and then this image tk dot photo image convert the resize image into a format that is suitable for the Tkinter, and then we will use inside our this inside our label. Okay, so we just run again, and there is image. We need to some replacement, but it look good. For now it's fine. uh, so the windows is now looking pretty much complete, and uh, we have these two buttons. When the send button is clicked, um, we want to actually display a new window where it can actually let the user to transfer the file. First of all, select that file want to transfer and then click send button. Okay, so when the user click on that receive button, the user will have the option to receiving that file and then place into the computer place that he want. Okay, so currently we have this main window. We have to create two more window. One is for sending files and one for the receiving, for the receiving, that is our server and the client. Okay, so we will working those things on the next live stream that maybe will go live tonight or maybe tomorrow. Okay, so we will work and create the functionality of these two buttons in the next stream. Till then, bye, happy coding. So if you are new to this channel, subscribe. We are creating more projects like these, and also I'm planning to create a project related to React, Angular. So just be in this channel, subscribe the channel and hit the like button if you like this video, like the project. Lots of projects are going on, so just subscribe and learn the programming just by doing programming, not by learning the syntax or doing things. uh, so till then, bye bye, take care.